Hello, I am Board Game Hobby.
And I am Board Game Wifey.
And today, for our very first video ever on this channel,
Yep.
it's an exciting one, I think.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
We will be going through our top 10 favorite games from the year 2021.
Our individual top 10 games.
Yeah, so potentially you might hear about 20 different games.
And maybe only 10.
Yeah.
We have a shared collection, so there might be some crossovers.
But who knows?
Who knows?
We have similar tastes, but not identical tastes by any means.
True.
Which can sometimes be frustrating when you want to play a game. Anyways, we used PopMeeple, a ranking engine, to do this. So it paired up games versus each other. We picked our favorites, and in the end, it spat out a list, and we just went with that. So these are the results of that ranking exercise. So, beginning with my number 10 favorite game of 2021. It's one that is close to my heart. It is Roll Camera, the filmmaking board game. It's a board game that is cooperative. You're working together as a failing production company to make a movie that's either so good that it's like cult bad, or so bad that it's a cult good movie, so to say, or that's at least out of the mediocrity zone. And you're doing this via playing cards like ideas cards, or going to various worker placement spots, like you're putting out dice to achieve certain tasks, or you're setting up the set to shoot scenes. So there's also a puzzly aspect to part of the game. And I just think it's a lot of fun. I think it really evokes making movies, which is something I've done in the past, which is why it's close to my heart. And yeah, I just think it's fun.
Yeah. It makes sense that you think it's fun because you have been in the industry, and I think it kind of mimics that, even though I haven't been in it, because sometimes problems just appear and you're like, what? Okay, we need to solve this before we can move on.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think the game works.
Wow.
And
betrayal.
There's a lot of humor, and it's taking the piss on itself, and the ideas are fun, but the entire gameplay falls flat to me because it's the same. You have the illusion of option, but I don't really feel like if you want to succeed in the game, you actually have an option. So that falls flat for me.
Interesting. I agree that it can get a bit samey in that, at least when we played it, usually there's one spot on the board that is play your ideas cards, and every player has ideas cards, and everyone puts out one card to contribute, and then you lay them all out, and you select one to use now, one for later, and one to discard, which I think is a super cool mechanic that also sort of prevents alpha gaming, like someone taking control over the game.
Which is a downside to many cooperative games.
Yeah, so that doesn't exist here, I don't think. But yeah, usually you would just go to that spot, one, because it's clearly the most fun part of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, because of the humor also that's on the cards, but you're mostly doing that.
If you like cooperative games, and if you like games with a lot of humor in it, this might be a game for you. I, on the other hand, think that you really enjoy my number 10.
Yeah.
It is Mind Management.
I love this game.
Spoiler!
If anything, spoiler alert. If anything, I'm only shocked that it's not higher. Well, I'm not shocked, but...
Okay, so for me, it's a hidden movement game. So you can be a recruiter, a mind management recruiter that is trying to move around a board to recruit people or things to your cooperation that is doing something evil, we guess.
Yes.
Or you can be the rogue agent that are trying to figure out where the mind management recruiter is. So, but that recruiter is moving around in hiding.
It's similar to Scotland Yard or Whitehall, Whitechapel, like other hidden movement games, if you've played those. So,
the thing is that if you are the rogue agent, you have one part, and if you are the mind management recruiter, you have another part, and they are completely different. If you are the recruiter, you are trying to move around secretly, and if you are the the agent, you are trying to deduct based on information you are given where the recruiter is.
Yeah.
And that the two roles are so different, but both works so well, and I think that is rare that you can have two different roles that work so well.
I very much enjoy playing both roles.
Me too.
taught this game to Kathrine, I was even like convinced that she would want to not be the recruiter that's trying to hide, because she usually doesn't like being a werewolf in social deduction games and such. But this isn't like that. It's actually mechanically quite easy to be the recruiter. It's definitely the less think-heavy side of the game. And it's just enjoyable to try to sneak around and
but
avoid
you're
the other
still
person.
trying to optimize recruiting while making as many possible hiding places as you can for the person trying to guess you. So if you want to play the part well, you need to think a bit also.
Yeah. I mean, I really like this game. It's a game that I want to introduce to more people.
Yes.
Again, this is another game with a lot of humor actually, and it's based on a comic of the same name. And it's basically this evil mind management agency using psychic abilities and spies to do a lot of stuff to the world, etc. I enjoyed it a lot. It also has the shift system, which we should probably briefly mention, is that if you're playing the recruiter side, for example, and you lose, then you get to open a pack of new cards that sort of shifts the balance in your favor. So the game auto-balances, auto-corrects throughout various plays, and it can go in both directions, and it's just a fun way to get new content.
It is, and I really like that you have the option of balancing the game. But the thing for us is that we want to switch roles and want to play both sides. So we have actually opened a pack, but we haven't had the chance to play that new content.
Because we wanted to play just the base game so much, which again speaks to its appeal.
Yeah. That was my number 10. My number 9 is a tile laying game, land versus sea. It's so simple. It's land that are trying to gain more space or more closed off areas than sea, and sea doing the same to land. So the fun dynamic about this game is that you are trying to close your own areas at the same time as you're trying to open the other ones up. And that is a difficult balance. It sounds so easy, but it's really not. But in a great way, so you are really challenged at the same time as it's kind of soothing. It's
super simple and appealing in nature, but in gameplay and complexity-wise, it has some real depth to it. And it's very cutthroat. If you like playing Carcassonne in the cutthroat way, which we don't particularly like, then you will love this game. But even those of us who play Carcassonne non-cutthroat, I think just enjoy this for what it is.
I'm usually not into cutthroat games, but this is kind of like innocent cutthroat because, I did this for myself and sadly, you suffer from what I did. But my fault was just that the core of this game that is so simple and so well functioning that it's just a great game.
And just to mention one interesting bit of the game, in a way that it differs from Carcassonne, is sometimes when you place out certain tiles, it has an action on it. So there are tiles that let you do another tile placement, or that allows you to steal from the other player, which is simple.
But there's still a maximum of 2 tiles that you can place, so it's not like you're waiting a long time for the other player to finish, or you just see them go through 100 tiles.
No, for sure.
So it's balanced greatly in that way. That was my number 9.
Great game.
Great game.
All right, my number 9, let's see here, is a game with animals in it.
Ooh, I like games with
actually,
animals.
all the animals. It has all the animals in it.
Oh, okay.
My number 9 is Ark Nova. Ark Nova is a zoo building themed game. It has a lot of mechanics in it, so I won't even try to explain it. It's definitely one of the more complex games. If not the most complex games from the past year that we played, I think. It has a lot of tableau building, some worker placement, etc., etc. But
it's very Euro-y.
It's very
a lot of point tracks.
It's very Euro-y in the sense that you can sort of math stuff out, or you're constantly trying to think of ways to optimize your turns. And the core of the game, which is what really drew me to it, is that you have 5 actions. And those are represented by 5 cards on your board. And let's say you have a card slotted into number 5. That means that it's at its most powerful version, that action. And then when you use it, you slide it down, and then the next card slides up, and now that's at its most powerful version. So if you really want to do an action, you can do it while it's at number 2, but do you maybe want to wait until it's slightly more powerful and does something better for you?
I really like that system as well.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen that.
We haven't seen that in other games. I'm told that it's not completely new, but I think it's
rare.
It's very rare, yeah. I'm actually interested to hear which other game has it.
I feel like it works very well.
Yeah, it's like, because it's such a complex game, it's nice that the core of it is so simple and just so interesting to play with. And you can also upgrade those actions, by the way.
Yeah.
A big deck of unique cards, like it has all the animals in it.
Was it like this?
Yeah.
Something.
And this is just a good game. And I can definitely see this rising in my rankings. We've actually only played this once. So this, after just one play, it has jumped into my number 10.
Great potential in this game.
Great potential, for sure.
So number 8?
My number 8th game is definitely not going to be appearing on Kathrine's list. And that is because she suffered a bad experience at the hands of my gun. This is Mantis Falls. Mantis Falls is a 2 to 3 player social deduction type game in which...
I really like the new spin on social deduction.
It's because it is a new spin on social deduction. So in this game, you might be working together and you might not. I think statistically there's a 33% chance that you are working together and a 66% chance that you're not, if you're playing 2 players. And it's very simple. It's set in like 1940s, 30s, 50s United States, and you've witnessed a mobster crime, and you're trying to get out of town. So you're actually just moving through cards, trying to get to the end of the line, so to say, or out of town. And you do that mostly by playing cards, it has this whole black and white aesthetic feel to it. Very nice artwork.
I agree.
Some good mechanisms in how you can play the cards. You have to, if you have a lot of the same suit, you can play all those cards. But if you only have one of the suit, you can only play one card. And mixed in all of that, like it has this whole game, but then mixed in all of that is the whole thing of trying to figure out if you can actually trust the other person.
Yeah, it is called Mantis Falls, a game of trust.
Yeah.
And as Michael said, spoiler, it's not on my list. And actually, before I lost, I was like, oh, this game has some great mechanics. I like this. I like the artwork. So there's a lot of good things in it. But emotionally, I'm not ready to have it on my list because the betrayal, it cut so deep. I'm pregnant, so there might be some hormones involved in that. But in that turn, we promised each other that he would play a certain card to help me move forward, and I will heal him. And I healed him, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not gonna do that, and now I'm gonna kill you." and I just.
And it just all ended very abruptly, viciously.
It was.
But I think that speaks to the positives about the game, is that it can really bring out the emotions which these social deductions games do.
I honestly started considering if he really was a psychopath, that he could do that.
And if that isn't a sign of good game, I don't know what is. One final thing I do want to say. Yeah. In many of these games, you don't want to be the bad guy because you know you have to lie. But in this game, even as an innocent, you actually have a lot of incentive to lie. So that's something that's different about this game, and which I think might be a positive for many people.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. My number 8, I thought I would hate this game. It's Furnace.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a 19th century capitalist corporation building in boring dark colors with...
Being very harsh.
Yeah, but it is brown and grey and black.
It's dry, yeah.
It is very dry, and I was like, I'm just not up for learning this game. It looks bad, and...
But what is it about?
Well, you are a 19th century capitalist trying to build the best functioning factory kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there is a very cool auctioning, would you call it that?
Yeah, it's
auctioning phase.
Yeah, an auctioning bidding phase.
Where you're trying to get machines or resources for your factory. So you have little discs, from 1 to 4, and if you have the highest number on a certain factory component, you will win it. But if you have a lower one, you will get 1, 2, or 3 times of that resource that is on top.
Yeah.
So even if you lose the auction, you win something.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you don't want to win a card. You actually just want to trigger the bonus that's at the top of the card.
Yes. And then there's also a fun mechanic about how important it is in what order you play your new machines to optimize the outcome of it.
Right, so the cards you do get, you use to get resources and points.
You build up your factory. And it seems very dry, but it's just very fulfilling to play. And it was just a good time.
I mean, you're never not getting anything in this game.
Exactly.
Every time you bid on something, you get something from that bid. Every time you run your engine, you get something. You're constantly getting stuff.
And I like that from auctioning games, because sometimes you just feel lost because, oh, I didn't get this, but you always get something. Yeah. And sometimes you really hope to get something else, and that is also kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. Like the negative thing about auction games is can be if someone else is better than you, or you feel that you're being dominated, it can feel very discouraging. Yeah. But I don't feel that as much here.
No.
Thank you.
My number 7 is the complete opposite of my number 8. It is Bullet. It is colorful, it's futuristic, it's female dominated, it's Japanese, right?
Yeah, actually, no, I was wondering what you meant by that, but yeah, it is actually the complete opposite.
It is the complete opposite. And I just really like this game, and it's high pace also.
Yeah.
So, and you're doing your own thing a lot. So this is a tile laying drop.
I think on the box it says a shoot 'em up puzzle game.
Shoot 'em up puzzle. Yeah. Falling blocks pattern building. Yeah. You could also say.
Yeah.
Where you are being shot by bullets, and you are all heroines, so you can only be female characters, which I like. Not that it should be like that, but in a lot of games you can only be male characters, so I like to see a game where you can only be female characters. That is rare.
Yeah.
So you are heroines trying to protect the world from all these bullets shooting at you.
It's sort of Tetris on crack.
Yes.
With the Japanese heroines.
Because there's also a timer on it, so you have to do it fast. And the bullets that you clear from your board goes to your opponent that are trying to clear even more bullets then, and they are going back and forth, and you are adding more constantly. And it's just a high pace, a lot of fun game. And it's colorful, and the art is cool, and I just like so many things about it.
I really enjoyed it as well. It hasn't made my top 10, but I'm glad you mentioned it. This was going to be in my honorable mentions if you didn't mention it, because I really like the system of it, and it's a super unique game. As far as I'm aware, there isn't any other game like it. There is a sequel announced, so we can look forward to that. Yeah, I really like this game. Yeah, it's a fun optimization puzzle. Yeah, with cool artwork, different powers. Yeah,
and you need to keep your head straight. You need to be super focused.
Yeah,
and sometimes it doesn't work for you, and it sucks. And then you're trying to get back on it, and it's cool.
Yeah,
it is. Short and sweet. Bullet. My number 7.
Yes, my number 7th favorite game of 2021. And I'm surprised to see it this low, but it may be because we haven't played it in about 6 months. It is Adventure Tactics, Domian's Tower. This is a adventure game, cooperative game, sort of dungeon crawl type game. You're playing through scenarios where you're facing certain villains and minions, and they each have their own decks of cards that do stuff towards you, and you have your own deck of cards that do stuff towards them. And the fun thing about this game is that you each start as a hero, so I might start as a warrior, and you can upgrade yourself throughout the game. So after each scenario,
also with characteristics from other
exactly.
types of players.
Yeah, so even though I start as a warrior and you start as cleric, I can add on cleric cards into my deck, and then that means that I can become, maybe a warrior cleric becomes a paladin, because then you can specialize and going through down various ways.
I became a necromancer, that was also kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think I became a gladiator or something, and I think you can even further specialize.
Yes, you
so can. You really feel like you're building up your own unique character and building it and developing it. And I like the artwork in this. I think part of the reason this hasn't become more popular is that it seems a bit kidsy, like a bit like a kids game.
Yeah.
But it's not, in my opinion.
It's not.
No, I mean,
I wouldn't play this with kids.
No, I mean, you can play it with maybe like a 12-year-old boy or girl. Like, so in that way, it can be sort of be a family game. Yeah. But you do need a gamer running the game.
Yes, you need some grown-ups to help get you through the game. Yeah, I like the game as well. I think that it's not on my top 10. I can already tell you that. And it's also because it's been a long time since we played it, so it's
not fresh in mind.
No, it's not. There's a recency bias going in there, and then we played it kind of wrongly because you're actually supposed to lose some battles to gain some things, so you can come back later and you can succeed. And we didn't do that.
Yeah, no, we kept replaying the scenario.
Yeah, so we got our asses beaten, and that was not what it's supposed to be. Yeah. So we should try it again and try and play it correctly.
Yeah, because that makes for a more fluid experience. It's not fun to keep playing the same scenario.
No.
So sometimes, like just in movies, there are lows, so you're just going to lose some battles and then you rise again.
But you still gain something from losing these battles, so it's not like you lose everything.
Yeah. I really enjoyed. I'm looking forward to playing it more. She has promised to play through the campaign with me, so... I
have promised to play again. I have not promised to play through the campaign.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. And now it's on camera.
All right. We disagree. Right. Number 6.
Number 6. It's my turn, yeah?
Yeah.
Number 6. Again, I'm surprised it's this low. When I played, I thought, well, this is just going to be maybe my favorite game of all time. And it might still be. But this is Radlands. Radlands is my 6th favorite game for 2021. And you don't like it? Well,
I have no comments. Tell them about the game.
So this is a dueling card game, 1 versus 1. You're each trying, and it's set in this post-punk, post-apocalyptic world with beautiful artwork. And we have the Kickstarter version with beautiful components, and I think even the base game is going to be beautiful. But anyways, you're trying to protect your 3 bases. They each have special powers. I love special variable powers. There's this huge deck of bases, so each game is going to be different. You're pulling cards from the same deck of cards in the middle, and then you're playing those to combat the other person. And it's a lot of like a tug of war, and sometimes you might just have a card out for one turn, but that's part of the game. Like you're constantly, the game is constantly evolving, so it's very tactical in its nature.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not super into the cutthroat games. And this game is about destroying the other player.
True.
And that is what it is about.
Yeah.
I agree the artwork is beautiful, the components are nice. I do see why people like this game. It's just not my style. One thing I find very frustrating is what you appreciate, that it's evolving constantly. So I play a card and I'm excited to play the card and gain the effects, and I'm gonna take him down, even though I don't like when he does that to me. But then he's like, nah. And then I have to flip it, like slide it a little bit so it lies down.
Yeah, so it's deactivated.
So it's deactivated, and then I can't use it. And if I didn't get the right bases, or I don't have the right people activated, I can't do anything about it. So I just wasted a turn. And that is very unfulfilling for me, that I can build up to something that is never going to happen.
I can see that. Yeah, that you're sometimes going to be playing cards that you're never going to see the effects of. I think that's part of its charm, also because it's so fast playing. You can play this through a game of this in 20 minutes. And so I mean,
it's a long time to be frustrated. 20 minutes.
Sure. Anyways, I really like the game a whole lot.
Yeah, I see why people like it. It's not my kind of game.
Yeah, it's sort of Magic the Gathering, but way easier to approach and play. If you want that dueling experience, this one might be for you.
Yeah. My number 6 is a game with animals.
Surprise.
Surprise. There hasn't been any yet, has there?
Has there?
No. This is my first game.
Ark Nova?
No. It is Meadow.
Oh.
So this is a very simple game in its core. It's a set collection game where you are trying to be the most skilled nature observer. And you can observe plants and animals. Ooh, I have the hiccups. And you are trying to gain some specific icons so you can get more dangerous or more animals and plants with more points in them.
Yeah.
That is what you're trying to do. And then there are some outside components of the core that makes it a lot more fun.
Or mechanics.
Mechanics, yeah. And there is a bit of a race towards getting certain points because not all players can gain these, and you can block each other a little bit, but you still have options. And I really enjoy animal-themed games, puzzle-themed games, and games where you play your own thing that is not that cutthroat. Yeah. So it's just like, it's very meditative for me, and I'm like, oh, this is a cute animal, and now I can do this, and if I, la 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 la. So it feels
It's a very peaceful
nice.
experience.
Yes, it is.
And it does have some meat to it. I do like the extraneous mechanics, or how you should put it. But I do, and we've talked about this, this is why she's sort of referring to it. I do think the icon gathering core part of the game is a bit too simplistic for me to like put this very high, but it's definitely a game I recommend and would never say no to trying again.
No, and it might be also slightly a gateway game.
Gateway plus,
Gateway plus maybe. So it is not too difficult to learn and to feel successful with. Yeah. It might be difficult to be the best of the best, but you can have a good experience first time you play it.
For sure. Again, and
I like that.
Beautiful artwork.
Yes.
And even has packs of content you can open, which is always a plus for me.
Yes. My number 5 is also with animals.
Is that Ark Nova?
No.
No.
It is not. It is also in nature, and it's also about building a good terrain for animals. It is Cascadia.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I know that
I thought you didn't like this game.
Yes, you had the idea that I didn't like this game, and I've never expressed that I didn't like it. But
I felt like you did. I asked you to play it again, and you didn't want to.
Okay, so it's kind of a heavy game. Kind of. So I just learned it, and it was late. And he loves to teach me new games. And he was like, do you want to play again? I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. I need to go to sleep. Yeah, and then, so maybe he got the feeling that I didn't like it. And then I just kind of played into it by being...
We've been sort of secretive about whether we like some of these games to make it more interesting.
So, but it's a tile laying, kind of puzzly, with a great amount of variation possible in this game. Yeah. And you do your own thing a lot, and I really like that. And you also have to, when you draw new components, you get a mix of two things. You get a terrain and you get an animal, and sometimes they don't go together. So you're trying to optimize what kind of puzzle component you are taking. And maybe you can also look at what the other person is needing. Last time we played, I think both of us needed a deer.
We needed elks very much.
Yeah. And so we knew that we had to take that, even though the terrain might be not so beneficial for us, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, and again, it's this sort of puzzle where you can change up your plans. Yeah. Like it's sort of open ended. It has you always have some options.
Yeah, and you build more and more options as you go, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you're still placing out animals almost every turn, but you definitely always have some options and different scoring opportunities to go for, which is the huge part of this game. And what I'm really intrigued by is these animal cards you're placing out at the start of the game that change from game to game. Yeah. So lots of variability in this. Yes. I really, really enjoyed it. I think this is a game we're going to be playing a lot.
Me too.
And don't be mistaken. If you're playing this late at night, it might seem heavy, but for most gamers, this is definitely a somewhat light-ish game.
It's not that difficult as when you already know it.
And it's fast-paced.
Yeah, also that. Yeah. Unless you are playing with somebody with analysis paralysis.
Sure. Yeah, true. Lovely game. I really like it. It's actually not in my top 10.
Wow.
So I'm very happy that you're mentioning it. This is no crossover so far.
We have no
crossovers.
You're number 5. Then we have mentioned 10 different games.
My
unless
number
it's a
5.
Crossover.
Unless it's a crossover, and it's not a crossover.
Wow. Okay.
But I do predict it will be a crossover or else I will feel very betrayed. But I've already feel betrayed.
Yeah.
Anyway, my number 5 is Destinies.
Okay.
Destinies is an app-driven adventure game set in like a medieval fantasy dark setting where there are a lot of supernatural forces and monsters and whatever. And you are
And just medieval chaos also.
Yeah, for sure. And you're playing different characters in this world, and you're each trying to fulfill your own destiny or destinies. You actually start with a character, and at the back of the card, you have 2 different destinies you can go for.
That you keep hidden.
And you keep it hidden, so it's a hidden objective or objectives, and you don't have to choose. You can change up which you're going for if you want. And I just found I found the game to be very atmospheric. Very easy to get into. You don't need to read the rules. You just start up the app and pull out the tiles that it tells you to, and you interact with this world. Like there are points of interest, and it's very point and clickish in its nature. And you're going to these different areas and just trying to complete your destiny.
Yeah.
I really like this game.
Yes. It is a good experience to play this game.
Yeah. Like this is actually, I would say, this is actually my number 1 experience of 2021. Like the feelings you brought up in me. Were unique and new to me.
But also the app played some background music and read some parts of the stories that really helped you get into the feel of it.
Yeah, like it's easy to set up and it's just a smooth, good experience.
You didn't actually need it to learn the rules. You could just play.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I already said that.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I was.
You're pregnant. It's okay.
I will also do this when I'm not pregnant.
Yeah. Anyways, and like one of the cool things is that sometimes Kathrine was exploring one part of the map and she was getting some information fed to her that maybe she wasn't that interested, but I was super interested in that information because it served my goals.
So you were very involved in the other person's turn.
Yeah, like just this fact of not knowing what the other person is really up to, and there's no pressure because it's not a game of betraying each other. You're just trying to complete your goal faster than the other person.
Yes.
So it has that mystery element without the pressure.
Yeah.
Really like this game. Looking very much forward to playing more of it.
Me too.
Yeah.
With that said, my number 4 is Destiny! First crossover! So we just talked about it, so I don't need to elaborate a lot, but I really also like this game. One of the top experiences with board games of the year. It was so fun. I was so intrigued. I really didn't think I would like it with this medieval and... Oh my god.
She was difficult to convince to play this game.
It took a lot of time, and I was like, when we started, I'm not sure I'm going to be bothered completing it tonight because I'm also kind of tired, and we ended up playing for 2.5 hours, I think.
Yeah.
So I really got encaptured in this world. Yeah. I do have one critique, which is kind of odd when it's in my top 4, but you get kind of punished for exploring things that is not leading you towards your final destiny. And as it is a game of exploration, I think it says something about that exploring and...
Well, if anything, I think it's a new take on exploration is that you do have to consider how you're exploring.
Of course, but when you are exploring, I can't hear about a boy who's dying in the snow and then just like, nah, I'm gonna leave
Not
him.
relevant.
I would like to see myself as an empathic person, and then I can't leave the boy to die, and then I'm punished, and that feels bad, man.
True.
But I still had a very good time, even though I lost. I saved the boy. Everything is good.
Yeah.
But you need to stay focused. And Michael, he was doing the same action again and again. I was like, this is so, why are you going to this specific place again and again and again and again?
I was playing the game.
He was hardcore going for winning, and he did win.
Yeah.
And I was just, then I will go here, and then I will help this person, and then I will help this person. And then he found something that I needed, and I was completely panicked and trying to keep a poker face because I needed that thing. Where am I going to get it? I was about to go there, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So it's a great game.
Great
Number 4.
My number 4 is definitely gonna be on Kathrine's list. It is another epic adventure type game. It is Sleeping Gods.
I have no comments.
Sleeping Gods, a huge sandbox adventure type game. You're flipping through this spiral storybook. You're a crew on the Manticore in this fantasy type world, exploring islands, cities, fighting monsters, bad guys, fulfilling quests, all that typical adventure stuff.
Yeah.
But what's unique about this is just the scope of it. It's a huge game with a lot of content. After you're done playing through a campaign, which lasted 18 hours for us.
18 hours, yeah.
You've played less than 20% of the content.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
Yeah.
I love this game.
It's really cool. What I really like about it is that something that usually is not that significant in other exploration games is, no, I'm gonna reform you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
what I really like about this game is that everything you do affects you later on. It's not like you have 5 different roads to the same thing. You need one specific thing to get one specific thing. So it has an effect on your entire game, whatever you do. And I really, really like that.
Yeah, it has this cool keyword system where, well, let's say you visit Island A, you might get this keyword. If you visit Island B, you might get this keyword. And later down the line, you visit a third island, and it says if you had the first keyword, then this happens. If you had the other one, then this happens.
Yeah.
Well, even that might not happen because they're probably not going to relate to the same island.
No.
But that's like the core of it, is that what you experienced earlier is going to maybe impact you later on.
Yeah.
It might not, because again, the world is so big, and
Yes.
you might get a quest that says you go north and do this, there's a boy that needs saving, blah blah blah, and you're like, screw that boy, I want to go fight dragons in the south or whatever.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. You're just trying to collect these totems to get a better score. But even with that, I mean, there's no really losing in this game unless you're playing on a hardcore mode, which makes you reset if you lose, and I wouldn't do that. But we didn't actually ever die in battle.
We didn't actually.
Yeah.
We were close a couple of times, but we worked it out really well.
Yeah. So
it was just a good time.
So we can just say we played on hardcore mode. Yeah.
We could say, but we didn't.
We didn't. I really like this game, and I'm not going to say more about it because I'm confident it's gonna be talked more about later on in this list.
Let's see.
Yeah. So that was my number 4. My number 3, and I mean, again, these are all great games that could just as easily be my number 1. This next one is a game that it's probably not going to appear on your list, but I think it's going to turn into a modern classic if it isn't already that. It won the Spiel des Jahres a couple of years ago. This is the sequel to that, and it's The Crew Mission Deep Sea. The Crew is a cooperative trick-taking game. So if you've only played Whist, then you have something experience to go into this with, and you're gonna get your mind blown, I think and hope. I mean, just to explain briefly, you're going through, or you can go through a campaign, but you're just going through missions where you're trying to complete a number of trick-based tasks. So maybe Kathrine has to win all the 7s, or maybe I have to avoid losing, or I have to win the first 3 tricks, or I have to lose the first 3 tricks.
So you have a deck of cards in 4 different colors from the numbers 1 to 9, and then 4 trump cards that are submarines in this case, and you're trying to gain your tricks with them. And then you have to, with the missions, maybe get specific cards or specific combination or a specific time. Yeah,
or have to avoid, just a lot of variability in this one. If you've only played the first one, then this one, for me, definitely replaces the first one. It adds more balance to the game.
Both great games.
Both great games. So, I mean, I would be happy. If I didn't know about this one, I would be happy playing The Crew for the rest of my life. But this sequel does add a bit of better balance and more variability and interest to the tasks.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, for me, is that my brain gets exhausted in a good way, because it is challenging and you need to focus and you need to think hard about most of your decisions to cooperate well with the rest of the players. Yeah. So my brain gets exhausted, and then after half an hour, 45 minutes, my brain simply can't do it anymore. Yeah. And that is like in its favor, but it also makes it drop on my list a little bit, that I don't want to just continue playing it forever ever.
Yeah, but I think that's also okay. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a filler type game. You can start your evening with it. You can close
we
your
usually
evening
do
with
that
it. Yeah.
with our friends, that we play for that amount of time until I say I can't anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, I can always keep playing it. I've never said I want to stop playing this.
No.
I always want to keep playing it. It's crack for me.
It's crack for you.
I love it.
That was your number 3. My number 3 is a crossover.
Is it? No, not Sleeping Gods. Is it Destinies?
I have talked.
You have talked about Destinies.
It's
Ark
Ark
Nova.
Nova.
Yeah.
So again, animal games. We have talked about it. I just really like this game. I also like that it's both beautiful and informative artwork. It is pictures on the cards, but it's animals and they're cute. They're really cute, and I like that you gain a little bit of information about the animals, what terrain they like, and what their name is in Latin, even though I don't remember any of them. But I kind of get a little giggle out of it. There was a snake that was called something funny, like Nuka Nuka or whatever. I don't remember. But it just adds a little bit of excitement, and that's kind of all I have to add to it. I think you said everything else perfectly. It is also so high ranked, even though we only played it once. Because I see tremendous potential in this game, and I think I will like it even better the second time. I liked it a lot the first time, and I think it will be even better the second time, and third time, and fourth time, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's so much to explore, both like learning the game really and getting better at it, and just the amount of cards. We didn't play through half the cards, I think, at least not at a 2-player count. And it's just very rewarding. A lot of bonuses you're constantly getting and optimizing everything. It's just goodness all around.
Goodness all around. My number 2 then is a game, and I might be getting some heat for placing this so high up. Also animals. And it's a bit childish looking. It is Cubitus.
Oh.
Cubitus, it's just a really good game. It's a racing game, and it's dice
building?
Dice building game where you start with some horrible dice that only give you 1 money or 1 move or something, and then you kind of build up by gaining the funny animal dice that either give you more money or more movement, but also a special animal effect if you land on that. And it has a lot of humor in it, with undercover fish as one of the
it's a llama. It's a llama. And then the card says it's an undercover fish.
And it's dressed as a fish, and it's just really fun. And the first night we played it 7 times.
Yeah.
I lost the first 6, and I was like, again. I just won. I felt like I could do it better next time. I could do it better, and I did do it better every time, but so did Michael.
Yeah.
So it's kind of addictive, and it's push your luck with the dice. So if you bust and you don't actually roll any faces with your die, you will bust. You gain a little something, but not a lot. But you wanna keep on rolling. Dude, can I get that last thing? And can I get this thing to this die? If that rolls the right face, I can get it to work with this die, and it will gain me more. And you wanna push your luck, and it's
This is healthier than being in a casino, but it gives you some of the same emotions of just wanting to keep pushing your luck. Yeah.
If I could do it once, I can do it again. So it's just so much fun playing this game. Very addictive.
Yeah, no, I like it as well.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Thank you.
All right. My number 2, my second favorite game of 2021 is just, well, we've already talked about it, so I'm just going to say it. It is Mind Management. I love this game. I love it. I want to teach it to everyone in the world. I want to talk about it with everyone in the world. Like I want to grab babies and tell them about mind management. I don't know. I just want to scream from the...
Are you a mind management recruiter? You want to grab babies and tell... I found you. No, what?
Yeah. Anyways, we've already talked about it, but needless to say, even just the base game is just super fun, simple. It can actually be played very quickly, this game. I would say if at least once it's set up on the table, and it doesn't. I mean, including setup time, you could definitely get this played in 40 minutes. 30 to 40 minutes.
like we are in a routine by now that we would maybe be able to do our turns a bit quicker.
Yeah.
But as the agent, you need some deduction time.
Yeah.
But one thing we forgot to mention when we talked about it before is that as the agent, you need more deduction time. Yeah. But as the recruiter, you don't actually mind the other person taking longer because you're so invested in what they're doing. And usually it's kind of boring to look at somebody thinking, but you are kind of paranoid.
Is she going to catch me? Is she going to catch me? And seeing all the wrong deductions sometimes.
And then it ends up right anyway. So that is a fun thing that we forgot to mention before.
And also, we played this 3 times so far. Yeah. And every game ended with the rogue agents winning, but with them winning on the very last turn of the game. Each time they had to make a Hail Mary guess, which happened to work out. Yeah. Not all of the time it was actually based on correct deductions. No. But so it was a close game, which generally adds to my enjoyment of it.
Me too.
Super fantastic game. Yeah. Love it.
I understand.
And is it? Oh, so it's
number
my turn.
One.
So my turn.
So you reveal your number one first. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, my favorite game of 2021. It jumped straight into that spot for me as soon as we played it, and it has remained in that spot untouched ever since. It is Cupidus.
What? No!
It is Cupidus.
Wow! I knew that I loved it, and you always agreed, but I just thought that you loved my enthusiasm.
This is board game crack for me. I'm addicted to it. There's so much variability to it. I'm just waiting for an expansion to be announced. I haven't heard anything about it. I'm like,
not that it needs it though, but
it doesn't need it. But I just want more content, even though we haven't even explored all of it yet. No. But I just know that I want more. Yeah. I want more undercover fishes. I want an undercover whale or something. I don't know.
An undercover whale.
Yeah. That's impressive. If you can be, I don't know.
A whale that is undercover though.
Yeah. So anyways.
As a giraffe. What? No.
I just love this game. Kathrine sort of touched on it that it might be a bit of a controversial pick because we haven't seen this in a lot of people's top 10s. It hasn't gotten nearly the amount of buzz that I think it deserves. I'm like, this should be the next Quacks of Quedlinburg, if you've played that. The push your luck family weight genre. It fits right into that. For me, I would have picked this to be an evergreen as soon as we played it. It doesn't appear to be heading that way, but maybe we can sort of help to guide it along that way. You should buy it. You should try it. Yeah. I don't see anyone.
If you are going to take one game away from this top 10, it should be
my number one. Yeah.
Because some of the others might be a bit heavy or niche, but this one is just good all around.
I can't see you getting this out on the table and not having a good time and wanting to introduce it to other people. Yeah. So that was my favorite game, or is my favorite game of 2021.
Yes. My number one is, surprise, surprise, a crossover. You called it.
Oh yeah, you haven't mentioned it yet.
No, Sleeping Guards. It was the experience of the year. So far, board game experience. But it was just
not the baby. Sleeping Guards tops her list.
The baby's not here yet, so it's just kicking me in the ribs.
It's whatever.
That is not a great experience, and making me pee 5 times during every night is not a great experience yet.
Yeah.
Well, I liked it. Well, but
10 out of 10 doctors recommend playing Sleeping Guards over being pregnant, or I don't know.
Okay, this has completely derailed. The thing is, we played this game over 3 weeks, 2 weeks maybe even, for 18 hours. And it was like every night we wanted to play it, and we were just like, just one round, because we put it up beforehand, because it has quite a bit of setup time.
It has quite a bit of setup time.
You don't want to set it up every time. You need to have a space where it can just be. Yeah. And we were like, okay, we're just going to play one round, half an hour, and it ended up being 1.5, 2 hours every time, because we just couldn't get ourselves to stop. And it was only when we were about to collapse from tiredness and like, okay, I need to go to work in 6 hours.
And to be clear, I started a new job a couple of months ago, and I chose to stay up till 2 a.m. Many nights because I had to play this game.
Yeah, it is a great game, a great experience, and it's all around fun. And I want to play it again, even though we have spent so much time on it this year already. I want to play it again now.
And there's good reason for us to do, because again, there's a lot of content yet to discover without any expansions. There are also 2 expansions, but even without that, a lot of good content to discover. And Speaking of content, that was our top 10
It was.
of games from 2021. And if you enjoyed hearing about 2021 games, we're going to keep playing 2021 games.
Yes, we are.
We've already played a good amount of them, but we're going to keep playing more because later this year we're going to be doing a full ranking of every game from 2021 that we played, combining the average of our ratings and going from bottom to top.
Oh, you're going to be so unhappy about roll camera.
You're gonna tank that
I'm gonna
rating.
tank it so bad.
Anyways, you have that to look forward to. You also have our top 20 games of all time to look forward to. And this was fun for us. We hope it was fun for you.
Bye.
Goodbye.